Good morning and welcome to South Church on this beautiful Sunday. Whether you are here in the sanctuary or joining us online, we are grateful for your presence. Whoever you are, whatever your background or beliefs, whomever you love, whatever has brought you here today, joy or sorrow, curiosity or searching, you are welcome in the sacred place. No matter your skin color, gender identity, or the status of your immigration papers, whether you feel at home or far from it, you belong here. This is the place where every person is seen as whole and worthy. Each of us come with our own story, our own path, yet together we create something richer than we could alone. My name is Anna Howard. I serve as one of the worship associates here at South Church. Today, I have the joy of welcoming back Reverend Susan Suchocki Brown. Many of you know Reverend Susan is our interim minister during COVID years. She guided this congregation with wisdom, steadiness through an incredibly difficult time, and we remain deeply grateful for her leadership. This morning's music is offered by Susan Adams and Cathy O, wherever she is. Jen Del Deo will share the story for all ages and then lead children to their religious education classes. And a special word of thanks to Ben Abbott, our AV technician, whose quiet skills ensure that we are seen and heard both here and far beyond these walls. If you need assistance at any time, our ushers are here to help with listening devices and large print hymnals. And following the service, we invite you to join us outside for coffee, tea, and fellowship. We also pause to acknowledge that this building, over 200 years old, stands on the unceded land of the Wabanaki and Pennacook peoples, who cared for this place for countless generations. We hold this paradox that this space was built upon injustice, even as we now strive to use it for love, justice, and healing. May this truth live in our hearts and guide our actions toward right relationship with the earth and its first people. And now, as we settle into this hour together, I invite you to silence your phones and turn your attention to this morning's announcements by Jen.
Good morning. Nice to see you, Maxwell. As always, check your orders of service for all the things happening at South Church. A couple that I want to lift up. One is that there will be a young adult potluck on Thursday evening in the social hall downstairs from 6 to 8. So if you are a young adult or if you are someone who knows a young adult, make sure you spread that word because we're trying to create community for that group of our people. Also, I'm looking for people who want to hang out with the coolest South Church people. No offense to any of you adults, but the kids are amazing, and you don't need to have any teaching experience or anything else. It's not every Sunday. So if you would like to play and learn alongside some really amazing humans, see me or email me about that. And Jim has one more announcement.
Thank you, Jim Verschuren. I know many of you know that we've been working with the young Haitian man, Mark, and I was going to be giving kind of a desperate announcement today because he has only until September 10th to stay in the Nesh's vacant home, which they have sold and haven't closed yet. But we found out this week that it's a very likely opportunity for an apartment in Kittery. So we think we're not desperate, but just in case, what I was going to ask was, we don't think we can find him an apartment except through word of mouth. So we're asking people very much to think about who they know that might have a vacant accessory apartment or apartment that's coming available within walking distance of downtown Portsmouth. He has 2 jobs. He's working 70 hours a week. Today he went to work at 10. He won't get home tonight until after midnight because he does both those jobs 4 days a week. So he's a very hardworking young man. Some of you have met him, and we've been helping him for almost a year now, and it's time for him to be on his own. But he has to have an apartment to do that. So please, use your network, and even if we find this one, keep that in mind because this will happen again. Thank you.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul.
As we light the chalice, we share these words by Desmond Tutu. We are fragile creatures, and it is from this weakness, not despite of it, that we discover the possibility of true joy. Now, please rise if you are willing and able, and join us in reciting our mission statement that is printed in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. On a walk the other day, my 13-year-old son Sasha shared with me a new piece of knowledge, as he usually does. He said, "You know that in the age of dinosaurs, there was more oxygen in the air. So if a T-Rex stepped into 2025, it might not cope." What? I looked it up. During the time of the T-Rex, the late Cretaceous period, atmospheric oxygen levels were significantly higher than today. That's why they were so big. Fluctuating between 25% and 35% of the atmosphere, with average levels around 30 or more. Do you know what it is now? It's 21. It's 21% of air is the oxygen. So in the changes matter. Changes of oxygen in the air matter. So right now it's 21% of oxygen. If it goes below 19%, we will not survive as humans long term. 2% change. Many settings will be considered oxygen deficient. Near 10%, if it gets to 10%, consciousness slips away. Life on Earth rides on thin margins. And chemistry is what we are made out of. So I went down that rabbit hole after I started looking at oxygen. So we are made out of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, a little calcium, a trace of sulfur, ordinary elements that exist everywhere in the universe. And yet, for a little while, arranged just so that we can love, argue, sing, and notice the light on one another's faces. How fantastically ordinary and how quietly miraculous. How astonishing that atoms become a heartbeat, and how easily that rhythm can change. A diagnosis, a lab result, a phone call, suddenly the ordinary feels perilous. Bodies that carried us for decades can change in a week. Atoms that make us up and make those that we love up will invariably decide to disassemble one day. Plans we made yesterday meet the limits of muscle, nerve, and the cell. So we are practicing this faith that tells the truth. Life is sturdy and delicate. Our days are numbered and still full of meaning. So may our time deepen our reverence for the ordinary miracle, this breath, this body, this moment, and strengthen our resolve to care for one another with our beautiful breakable limits. Now, please rise if you're willing and able, so you can join us in singing hymn 128, For All That Is Our Life.
Sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Anybody who would like to join me for a time for all ages, come on up, have a seat on the floor, whether you're a kid or a teen or a grown-up. I have something to show you today, so if you think you might want to see it close up, I encourage you to join me. Look at that dress. That's so cool. So, a couple of weeks ago, some of us who are here right now, including this friend and this friend and this friend down here, we all had a summer camp week together here, and it was so fun. At least I thought it was so fun. Did you think it was fun? Yeah, we thought it was fun. And here comes another friend who was there. So our theme for that week was just really all about community and what it means to build community and why we build community and who is important to contributing to community, which it turns out everybody is. And one practice that we had every day that we met was at opening circle. We had a basket that had, would you help me hold these? Pieces of string and fabric, just all these like mismatched pieces of string and fabric in a basket. And there was a loom, just a big structure with white strings. And each day, we would take turns, everybody choose a piece of yarn or a piece of fabric from the basket, and you name something that you're bringing today to contribute to the group. Not like cake, but something like your ability to listen, or your sense of humor, or any other trait that would help create a positive community. And then after you name it, you weave in your string or your piece of fabric. And then we'd go about our day doing all kinds of silly and fun and hard work things. And at the end of the day, do you remember what we did at the end of the day? We got that basket again, right, with the strings. And we each took one out. And this time, we named something that we were appreciating that we had created together. And we wove that into the loom. And then, by the end of the week, we had this. This is what we made with all of our intentions and our individual traits. It came out really cool. And we talked about how community is just like this. We might each be kind of a basket of tangled yarn and material, fabric, but when we pull them all apart and weave them all together, and we appreciate all the different parts that we each bring and the things that we can create together, it makes a fabric that's not only beautiful, but it can wrap us up when we need it. It's strong. It can hold us when we feel like we're falling, right? And so we did this in just 1 week. Just 10 of us together created community and something that represents community. But when you think about this place, and we're creating fabric this morning, we're creating fabric this year. This church has been here for 200 years. So if you think about the fabric that has been created, I don't even know how long it would be, but it would definitely wrap all of us up. It would hold us. It would connect us, right? And that's what this place is about. And so don't forget that it means every single one of us has to bring all of our parts. And it's not just the shiny, fun parts, right? When we're struggling and when we feel like we really need to yell and be frustrated, those parts are important to bring too, to weave into the fabric that holds us all and helps us come back to center. So now, anyone who's interested, we're going to head downstairs to create a different kind of fabric.
It is time for the Offertory. During the month of August, our collection will be shared with Dover Children's Home as chosen by the youth of South Church. Dover's Children's Home is a nonprofit residential treatment program committed to providing high-quality support and services to some of New Hampshire's most vulnerable and valuable youth and their families. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share in love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
So let's gather our thoughts together for some time of reflection, some time of thinking about the needs of each one of you, of this community, and of this world. It is always such an ominous time to be thinking about prayer and what that means and what kind of thoughts that we have when we do take a couple moments to think, to reflect on the awesomeness of life, to think about our youth, to think about the brilliance of these children who come together, who sit with Jen, about the gloriousness of the piano and the gift that each and every one of you bring. It is such an awesome experience that it is good to just take moments and reflect. We have a tradition here that we ask you to think about if you have any special needs or concerns or hopes, and that you take a moment and come forward and light a candle. And if you do have something that is really, really troubling you, don't leave here without talking with someone. Know that each and every person here will care and will listen. There are pastoral care people here. So if you have a real need that you want to make sure doesn't get forgotten, take a moment and write it down on a card, and we will be in touch with you. So when I think about being here with you all and seeing your faces, I am filled with gratitude. I am filled with happiness. I am filled with joy. And I know that you too have those experiences in your life, be they experiences of joy or experiences of care. We want you to light a candle and express your thought in silence. So I'd invite you to come forward now. Blessed be. Know that you're held in care and compassion, and that we are here with one another to help and to care. You know, it really, really is so wonderful to see you, because really, really, I mean it. About 9 months ago, I was close to never, ever seeing anyone ever again. I was very, very ill. Heart failure, organ failure, fluid on the lungs, heart arrhythmia, major all systems with an infection. It was kind of nip and go there for a while, near a month. So this morning, when I say it really is good to see you and great to be seen, I have new meaning to that. And I want to talk a little bit about some of my learnings, maybe some of the experiences. You know, it hasn't escaped notice that it's been 9 months to where I am today, which is the human time, isn't it, for the birthing process and to give new life. And being inclined toward a nature-centered viewpoint of religious thought and spirituality, I really do appreciate that symbolism of the 9 months. And to maybe talk about some of the things that I've learned to sort of thrive again. All right, let's get the tough part out of the way. To begin with, I didn't see Jesus. I didn't see Buddha, Muhammad, Gandhi, Sojourner Truth, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr., Robert F. Kennedy. I didn't see my mother, my father, my sister, my Grandpa Faye, my brother, my sister, my aunt, my third grade teacher, and other favorite ones of my family, nor did I see any of your family, Lance, even yours. I didn't go down a tunnel. I didn't see a light. I didn't see a mansion with many rooms, nor a sign pointing to this way to heaven, or this way to a discussion about whether there's heaven or not. I didn't encounter a three-headed monster at the River Styx, or excessive heat and demons. I didn't wake up dramatically with a great pounding on my chest, but according to my medical team, you know, I was about as close to death as I could have been. And now if your experience is different, I honor that, of course, and I'd love to talk about it, but I did hover in this in-between state of mind for 3 or 4 days. Sometimes I had flashbacks of my life, both the good and the bad. I didn't have pain. And for 2 days in this in-between state, I had some vivid dreams, which I'll share with you. In those dreams, I was provided a clear and specific directions on how to neutralize Trump. And his minions, and they were so clear that I woke up prepared to do the deed, but then I rapidly forgot, except one that had Elon Musk doing some kind of newscast, and he revealed some secret. It sticks with me. I don't know what that means. But I did learn a couple things about those dreams. One, that I do not want any longer to have this present administration own me the way that it was owning me, or owning us the way that it owns us. So I couldn't let it occupy that much of my being anymore. I mean, you know, when you're close to death, that's probably about the last thing you really want to be thinking about, right? And So I try to meditate on nature. I try to watch less news. I support healthy rebellion. Amen to all that you're doing here with the immigration stuff. Yay. And I have a few special folk that I can vent when things are really in my way of moving forward. But you know what? It was, without a doubt, my bestie telling me no. When I told her that I just wanted to close my eyes and continue to float away into the great unknown, she was adamant that I not give in to that yet, saying I probably had a few good years of life left, and in her opinion, it wasn't time yet. And I trusted her completely because I know she's had the hard experience of telling some loved ones that it was all right to let go. And I also know that it was the tender and competent care of staff and doctors and nurses and aides and technicians and therapists, occupational, physical, speech therapists, dietitians and food preparers when I was finally able to tolerate eating, and a lovely cleaning person who came in every day with a huge smile and just wished me the best day that was possible for me to have. And I have grown to really appreciate the gifts, talents that people have, realizing, like Jen's story, that weaving, that it takes many talents all brought together to make a healing and healthy environment where we can all thrive and survive. My family and friends and so many of you sent me notes. I appreciate that. It brightened my day. Ron, my spouse, was ever there tending to me in the hospital and preparing breakfast and food and doing all the house stuff till I finally had to hire a cleaner. My grandson, my daughter-in-law, visited a lot, and it was really the love of everybody that got me through it. And in that first month of recovery, I realized I've been loved, and I have loved. I've birthed and raised 2 marvelous young sons, and I have watched them enter into meaningful relationships. I have friends. I have known success and failure, and I've survived loss, and I've taken and I've given back, which was the biggest value that my family gave to me. And I encourage you to think about what's your biggest value that was passed on to you. For me and my family, it was do for others, sometimes to the detriment of our own family life. Well, we won't get into that. But part of that healing process has been learning about what I call the gardening of life. Weeding out the things that are no longer important and tending to those that are, and taking care of those things that need to nurture and grow. So through the 9-month process of gestation, I've learned which weeds to let go of: regrets, guilt, excessive material things, negative friends and feelings, and to surround myself with beauty and gratitude and people, all life experiences, and to be open to all of those. And I never want to forget humor. It has gotten me through some of my worst and my best experiences. As we come up to, I want to tell you a story about Ground Zero. As we're coming up to that 24th anniversary of Ground Zero, I was beginning to think about some of those experiences that I had and reflecting on the incredible human capacity for evil, like the times that we're in now, and knowing the capacity and witnessing the best in others emerge, which I have hope can happen, and humor and irony. So I'm going to tell you the story about the papal nuncio, the papal nuncio. When I was at Ground Zero, I was assigned to work in the morgue and to bless and pray and offer words of comfort as remains were recovered. When I arrived on scene, I was greeted by a man dressed in his most spectacular priestly garments, a cape lined with red, huge gold cross or a pectoral cross, they call it enormous, fancy tri-colored hat, looking very official, very calm, very in tune to all around him. And I inquired what his function was, and he said, I'm the papal nuncio. I'm born and bred Unitarian Universalist. I had no clue. If you do, I'm really proud of you. But a papal nuncio was something I'd never heard of. He said, I represent the Pope at special events. I sit in for him. Well, lovely, I thought, that's how it should be. I mean, the highest representative of the Pope should be here, offering solace to the many Roman Catholics affected by this horrible event. And I thanked him, and I watched as he went off to bring communion in a lovely gold chalice with a gold paten, you know, that tray and a pocket full of communion, wafers to the firefighters, and among them was one of our Catholic priests. And I was impressed. I was impressed with his presence and his ability to be there. Next day, I returned in time to watch him being led off the site on the back of a golf cart in handcuffs with 2 police escorts. What the heck? Well, after the scene quieted enough for me to go and talk to a police officer, he told me the man was a total imposter and had walked out of a sane asylum, nearby mental hospital, when the electricity momentarily shut off, and that he'd been missing for a week, and they never expected to find him at Ground Zero. But you know what? It's kind of a tragic comedy because he was amazing. He brought a level of calmness. He brought people what he needed. He brought compassion. He brought a representation of an ideal, or people thought that he did. And well, I thank him wherever he was because he really taught me a lot. And one of the things he taught me is how to be a holy fool. You know? I'm no longer afraid to be a holy fool. There's too much I don't know. Too much I don't know. Too much wildness and wonder in the universe for me not to risk stepping out of my comfort zone and being filled with wonder and being a holy fool. I belong to a minister's study group, and I have for over 30 years. And the next group gathering, we're discussing the show The Good Place. All right. It explores heaven and hell and wrestles with all the philosophical concepts of how one either gets to the good place or the really, really bad place. I confess it's really not a show that I'm totally enjoying, but it has a few points relevant to my near-death experience. For a century, folks far more learned than I have been debating about heaven and hell. Is there, isn't there? Is it a point system? Is it a death and glory, you know, straight to heaven? Or is there a need for kind of reform school, restoration before entering the good place? Battles that our Universalist forebears engaged in and left us wondering. You know, I don't know. Maybe you have a better understanding of it. Maybe you have some wisdom about it. Love to hear it. You know, but the truth that the Good Place show revealed is that there were 4 very different characters who never knew each other before this after death. And they found themselves together in a in-between place. And though they were very different, if you've watched the show, they bonded together to explore how to help one another to gain access to the good place. It is their bonding that speaks to me. And it's no secret, you know it too, that what matters most, what really matters most, is compassion, deeply caring for others, sticking together through thick and thin, and standing up for one another to bring about a better world. So I didn't see a light, I didn't go down a tunnel, but I did experience an expansive, never-ending, no-boundary sense of oneness that I've tried to hang on to, that sense of oneness with all. I'm not a praying type necessarily, but I hope and try to act in ways, and every day I try to find ways to remind me of that connectedness with people, with nature, with the world, with the unknown, with the humor, with the ability to laugh at myself, the ability to grow, the ability to be. I try to remind myself of that. And being in relationships with other humans, of course, that's not always the easiest thing, is it? I mean, there's a poem that Joan of Arc might have been a tough neighbor. So, so being in relationship with other people is a challenge, and boy, that's a topic of lots of other sermons. But ultimately, when you get to the core of things, to the ultimate part that really matters, it is our connection, it is our oneness, it is our wonder, it is our ability to be together. We really do need one another. We really do need one another. May it be so. We're now going to sing Wake Now My Senses, 298, verses 1 through 3.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor, both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
We leave here to go out into a world that has a lot of unknowns for us. We have no idea what this day will unfold for us. We have no way of knowing what the years and weeks will reveal. But we leave here knowing that together we are stronger. Together we have found one another. Together we need one another. May you go with all love, care, and affection, and may peace be with you. May it be so.
I'm sure you hear this all the time, but you play beautifully. Oh my God. If you play professionally,
I feel I'm still doing that. Lots of it, yeah. It's my whole career, yeah.
sure.
Love to play games.
And let's tell you this, 40-some years ago, I used to play guitar in this very sanctuary services.
What did you?
The Reverend Carnan, here, in this room. I even played piano once. I don't play piano. But I was head of the music committee, and our pianist didn't show. They had no one. The Reverend Carnan said, no guitar. You gotta play piano. We need a piano. So